Lyle Lyle Crocodile, lover of the Russian queen. There was a cat that really was gone. Lyle Lyle Crocodile, love Russia's greatest love machine. It is a shame how he carried on. Okay, I'm sorry. I know that it doesn't have to do with that, but honestly, I don't know what. Probably because it kind of rhymed a little bit in my head. This is why when I hear a title like Lyle Lyle Crocodile, sometimes I randomly associate it with anything random. In this case, I don't know. Somehow I think that you could make a remix of the Rasputin greatest love machine. I kind of associated with Lyle Lyle Crocodile. Oh my god, but either way, this movie, I was actually really anticipating it, mostly because I got kind of like this curiosity to watch as something really family friendly that I don't know. It kind of have kind of like the same level as Paddington. To be fair, I never watched any of those movies. I haven't seen Paddington. I haven't seen Paddington. I haven't seen Paddington 2. And honestly, I feel like a little bit that I have to watch them because Nicolas Cage, well, technically says that Paddington 2 was good. Yeah, that was something that I missed to say when I was reviewing what was it? That latest Nicolas Cage movie. But either way, I was anticipating this movie. I thought it was kind of like cute and harmless, and from the trailer. I didn't read any of the books. I'll say I didn't get that privilege, and also I just I know that there is kind of like I don't think it's a short. It's an animated movie that you can watch it on HBO Max. I have to check that one out. But either way, I think that I was really inkling to watch that movie. I don't know which one, which movie was all coming this week. Although there is one that I do want to watch, but this one is I don't know if I can make it, and it's one of those hard to get movies, and that one is Terrifier 2. Uh, and before I talk about more about Lyle Lyle Crocodile, in order to make it a little bit some time, I do want to say that I have I did hear about the Bros movie, and honestly, I saw the trailer once, and it cringed me so much so much that I not gonna decide not to watch it. So hey, maybe I'm a homophobe just because saying that. Yeah, the one dumb Twitter that one of the actors said that. I didn't actually watch the Super Mario trailer because two things. One, while I am not as critical as many people on the casting of Chris Pratt as Mario instead of Charles Martinet, I am very critical because Bowser is played by Jack Black, and if you know me, I have a deep hatred to this guy. And the second thing is that I do want to warn a little bit not Warner Brothers, Universal and the Nintendo guys that they should not over promote this movie because yeah, I know it's Nintendo, they have the means to promote the movie, but I sincerely hope that they don't over promote the movie because you're technically spoiling it. Maybe I'll catch it up one of these days in the movie theater, but I don't think that this is this is a trailer that I might gonna watch. But that's all some of the little things that I do want to say, and now I do want to talk about Lyle Lyle Crocodile, which I kind of find it cute, considering that me myself, I do like crocodiles when I go to see on the zoo or in the on things when I go to the zoo or sometimes I go to the movies. I do have I do like the crocodiles in general. Although the fact that I like crocodiles doesn't mean that I'm dumb enough to go jump into the pool or something like that to want to touch them. No, I am really well aware that these are really dangerous creatures, and and of course, and of course that kind of goes into awkward level because I'm not the kind of guy. I like reptiles to watch them, but not exactly to touch them. Especially considering that I got this biggest fear with snakes, of all things. But anyway, Lyle Lyle Crocodile, I waited and finally watched it. I watched it with some family member who they say, hey, come on, let's watch a movie. And say, sure, why not? And so I'm wanting to watch Lyle Lyle Crocodile, and we went there, and you know what? I enjoy it. I enjoy Lyle Lyle Crocodile. It was. I will say that this movie is really one of the few moments in which I saw a really harmless, family-friendly movie. And that's a lot of compliment that I say, considering that I am especially critical when it's about Disney movies, especially this year in which they have really big problems by releasing, Lightyear. I don't care for Hocus Pocus 2. The Pinocchio movie looks like shit, so I'm not gonna watch it. And the only creative thing that is gonna come out at least this year is Strange World. So honestly, and I don't think that that the Minions came out really, how could I say, harmless, because, well, some people, the Minions are are a little bit irritating. But so honestly, I just came out from Lyle Lyle Crocodile with a big smile on my face. Everyone was gonna say, "Hey, yeah, that was a very good movie. It was harmless enough. It has its problems, of course, but anyway, I just went out and by the way, this is me coming out from a family-friendly movie when we were supposed to, watching horror movies in this month. But whatever. Next week I do have Halloween Ends, and then we got Black Adam. Black Adam. I have mixed feelings about this, but anyway, I'm just here to talk about Lyle Lyle Crocodile, which basically the story centers about this struggling magician. He finds a baby crocodile in a pet shop in which he finds that it can sing. So he raises the crocodile, who he named Lyle, and it prepares him for the show business, but unfortunately, the crocodile has this stage fright that he couldn't perform. So the magician technically said that, okay, you stay here in this rundown apartment, I'll be back to get more money. And then 18 months later, he didn't return, and the apartment now it gets purchased by this family called the Prince family, where we got a socially awkward kid who has difficulty adjusting to New York City. We got the mother, who is kind of like a soy mother that maybe, well, she wants to be kind of like a soy mother, it makes things really healthy, and she's struggling to find recipes. And the father, who is kind of like a teacher, he's a teacher, and all these things. And of course, when little by little, the family they just initially are scared of Lyle, because he's a big giant alligator wearing a scarf. But they realize that he's friendly, and he helps them, come up with their own fears and anxiety here and there. That's pretty much the basic of the story, which is really kind of like on the books of a family-friendly film. That they find that the family have their own social problems. Then they then they fight it, and they fight their struggles thanks to a quirky creature. In this case, a big crocodile wearing a scarf who can sing. This I actually kind of like that. I'll say. First of all, let's go with the crocodile itself, Lyle, which it is. I'll say that the CGI, it was cute. They made him look cute than a regular crocodile. Because if you see a regular crocodile, they're scary. They're scary, really scary. I once went to a zoo in which they had a big crocodile tank near me, and once get so close enough that I just freaked the hell out of me while I was sketching it. And one of the big things that I will say that in the acting department is kind of okay. The crocodile, the one who makes the singing, is this what was this singer called? Shawn Mendes. No, Shawn Mendes. Shawn Mendes. Sorry. I know that he participated in Sing too, mostly, and his singing is fine. I like what it is. The only almost a little bit the biggest problem that I find a little bit in usually musicals is that most of the singing is usually auto-tuned, and this one is no exception. I am not exactly a fan of auto-tune because it kind of removes the authenticity of the singer. It mechanizes them. This one I find it a little bit with no exception. But if he wasn't auto-tuned, then I want to apologize just in case if maybe I'm wrong. And yeah, maybe his voice is a little bit too adolescent coming from a crocodile. But honestly, I will give it kind of like a little bit of a pass, mostly because, well, it usually, how do you expect a crocodile's voice will sound? And if you wanted to make it too realistically, why will a crocodile actually sing when it doesn't have lips? So you want to take it a little bit in the cartoon department in this one. And we got also with the kid who's played by Winslow Fagley. I'm watching IMDb because I don't know names. The kid was okay. My sister and her husband, they kind of agreed that the kid wasn't exactly a good actor. Although I've seen worse, so I kind of give it a little bit of the pass. We got the mother, the mother who she was stepmother. I remember she was a stepmother, and I kind of call her kind of like a soy mother because she's one of those mothers that say that no, I don't want all these things, because it has some chemicals here and there, but luckily they didn't stay kind of like that. And the father was. It was the one that took a little bit while to warm up to Lyle, and the relationships are pretty good. The one who raises Lyle, he's played by Javier Bardem. That guy was almost the guy who technically steals the show when it's about the human actors. Because this guy, luckily for a guy who is interested in the show, making show business, making money, and all these things, it's a good thing that they didn't make him the villain. I'll say he actually comes off as likable, and honestly, he's the one that struggles more than the family themselves. So honestly, I was watching Brad Jones' review, and he kind of claims that the movie could have been better if it's about Lyle and him, and I kind of tend to agree, but honestly, they just wanted to make it sure that it's technically about the family perspective, and so I don't. So honestly, while the guy was, I liked, of course, that they didn't make him kind of like the unlikable guy, but. There is the guy who, there is of course the kind of like antagonistic force, which is Brett Gelman, the kind of like this neighbor who is always with his CGI cat. a really fluffy, bad CGI cat. I'll get to that by the CGI. And my God, this guy. I know that he's on Stranger Things, but man, that most of the time when he appeared, in my head it was like, oh my God, this is kind of like the evil twin of Jim Henson because of the beard. But he was, but in one thing, I am glad. I am glad that they make the villain kind of like the classic representation of a Karen. So, the computer turned off a little bit. Don't worry about it. That's technically all I have to say. But honestly, this guy, he was a total Karen. A total Karen that I was like, oh my God, somebody shut this guy out. And there are times that he does, that they give him, what he deserves, I'll say. But honestly, nowadays when people are getting sick of Karens, I am not very surprised that we're it is time to to stereotype these kind of people and making them kind of like the villains. Okay, and now let me continue on a little bit with the cinematography because it was pretty nice. I'll say nothing kind of like they try some risky shots. So it's pretty. So I will say that it is pretty basic. And when it's about cinematography, they don't want it. The movie is not overly ambitious. Like for example, they can make some kind of camera tricks here and there, a little bit like Smile. So nothing much less I have to say about this one. But is there something that I have a little bit mixed feelings? Of course, but a little bit give it a positive is that the CGI of the animals, I have a little bit of a mixed feelings. First of all, about the crocodile himself, Lyle, they made him look really cute. He is sympathetic. I love the character itself, and it worked. It worked at least to make it family friendly. And the crocodile is very cute compared to real crocodiles, and so it's kind of acceptable to make him CGI and give it a little bit kind of like a cartoony edge. But the cartoony aspect, it really blends well with the live action. It doesn't get too realistic, like they did in the Jungle Book or the really bad Lion King. So this one I find it acceptable because they made the crocodile technically blend into it fairly well, but also the cartoony aspect brings out some charm into it. But I have to go a little bit of criticism when it's about the cat. The cat, it was kind of like they wanted to make it portray really real, but man, that this cat they could have needed a little bit more work. I know that it was gonna be hard, to get a real cat, and especially in acting in some moments. But man, this cat, this is where it goes a little bit uncanny valley. It looks you feel that it's noticeably bad, especially kind of like in a few moments. I know they wanted to make the cat make emotion, kind of like real, some cartoonish emotions, but they wanted to blend it, make it too realistically. This is where it failed for me with that cat. If only they make the cat a little bit cartoony, like they kind of like a little bit cartoonish and a little bit less like Grumpy Cat. So maybe a little bit of a cartoonification could have worked better with the cat to make it look kind of like cute instead of this uncanny valley road here and there. And as you can tell, also this movie was a musical. And honestly, it's not exactly kind of like the greatest music, but it has a good rhythm. I'm not exactly an expert, but I was just kind of enjoying, Shawn Mendes music. It has a good tone. Again, while I still think that it's a little bit out of tune, it kind of degrades a little bit. Although, okay, maybe I'm being so harsh on that one. It's kind of, I will say that still they did a nice job, making some artistic things about with his singing. The song, I don't think that is kind of catchy, but it has a nice ring. Maybe this is something that I would like to, put it on my iTunes or on my computer and then play out, and I will feel, upbeat and entertain here and there, and so honestly, this is kind of like the aspect of the music that I really like. I will say that. While it is entertaining, kind of like for the family, there are also, I want to go a little bit in a negative tangent, saying that not everything works. I will say that some of the jokes kind of doesn't work as well as a giant comedy. It does fine, but there are kind of like one or two fart jokes that it felt a little bit, forced, and I was like, maybe that's a little bit pushing it. Especially one that involves a cat having diarrhea. This one was the one that I was like, okay, maybe. I know that it can be done, or you want it to be done. Luckily, it was done sparingly. That doesn't interrupt the movie, but honestly, it's always a gamble when you try to do that. So maybe I'll give it a little bit of a pass, but this one was kind of like a little bit, like, okay, maybe it's a little bit, it's not a little bit too much. But other than that, I still think that the movie is harmless. It doesn't have anything that most family-friendly movies have, that it makes you really cringe or something. No, luckily it doesn't have. The movie has enough heartwarming scenes and so much kind of like an innocent, safe environment that it makes you feel really fine. Actually, since the movie takes place in New York, at least they show that, well, living in New York is not exactly kind of like the best thing in the world. It's just that you have to adjust. I mean, like, for example, in the beginning of the movie, the kid he has social anxiety, which combined with his asthma, which I can understand. Well, except the asthma part. And when he was in New York, he has to, deal with that. He doesn't want to be alone. He feels awkward with his and in his new environment. He struggles with it, and it doesn't help that he almost gets mugged by a homeless guy. So technically, I like that, that Lyle just gets into his life and then eventually warms the family up. And we also have, the arc with his parent figure, and the parent figure also has some things to learn. He's not perfect, but you kind of understand, and you like the characters. I must say that I can really recommend this movie for a nice family-friendly movie that is pretty harmless, pretty entertaining. Probably you might forget it once if you don't pay attention too much to the movie. It's not exactly trying to be too big. It just wanted to be just a family-friendly movie, and I think it succeeded. At least in my opinion, at least I think that this was a nice feel-good movie that I feel entertained. I could watch it again if I want to. So honestly, if you find it, if you are a little bit harsh on the heart or something like that, and you expecting kind of like more to this, you're not gonna get it. Honestly, this is one of those movies that I can give it a pass and actually just just saw the rock hard solid heart that I usually get. That I didn't feel as cynical as every time I watch a Disney movie, because this one I will say that it didn't give me the crocodile tears. That's pretty much I have to say. But still, Lyle Lyle Crocodile, Russia's greatest love machine.